What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode and live stream of Let's Get Nuts here on the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back, guys. Today it is 420 and Easter at the same time. Weed and chocolate bunnies do go together, I can admit. So we are going to have a fun stream with you guys today. We got some great panelists here with us as well. We're going to talk a little bit about that Easter bunny. I want to know what my panelists have to say about their past Easter celebrations. We got to talk about Katy Perry and this whole space flight. Is it real? Is it not? Is it a conspiracy? What conspiracies do you guys have that you want to talk about today as well? We'll talk a little bit about those conspiracies. And then we're going to talk about the Silver Surfer, Hot Toys news, Six Scale news, Star Wars celebration, all of the good things. So guys, with that said, let's get nuts.
What are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts? You want to get 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 nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Alrighty, let's get it going here, guys. Thanks for everybody here who is here early. I'm going to say hi to the chat as we always do. I'm still waiting on at least one of our panelists for the day, but I want to get the main show out here. The luck of the Irish has come on Easter Sunday. You love to see it. We got Shane, one six-figure focus in the house with us today, buddy. Good to see you, man. How you doing?
I'm not sure if I'm a luck or a bloody curse, but yeah. How are you doing, man? You good?
Just wait for at least 5 minutes, and then you can say anything you want.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know. Right. I'm desperate. I'm desperate for that. I like to make an impact, impact substitution.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
Yeah. No. Is that true though? Do you actually get demonetized? Because I definitely had people.
So far, I have seen it a couple times, like 100% of it. Like the first 5 minutes is, for whatever reason, just extra sticky when it comes to it.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Yeah, sometimes I leave Dave X-Men Supreme just off the stream entirely for the first 5 minutes.
Fair. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, happy Easter to you, dude. I mean, again, I should know my worldly culture a little bit better than I do. But, like, is Easter much of a thing for you guys on your side of the planet? What about 420? The fact that they're on the same day today is a little wild. Tell me about that for you, buddy.
Well, 420 wouldn't be... Okay, 420 is a weed thing, you know? And that's, like, it's legal in your country, so it's not here. It's not here, so it's not a thing. Like, do you mean? And I'm a school teacher as well, so it's like
it's a thing.
It's not the best thing. It's not a thing. Like, as in, I know people in the country do that, you know, but like it's not really a thing. Sure. Like, you know, it's not. I mean, it probably is for some people, but maybe not for my family or my friends or people I associate with. And there's no judgment. I'm just saying it's not really a thing. I presume it'd be a bigger thing in, say, place where it's legal, or maybe a place that have that culture when it's not legal, whatever. But no. Were you asking about Easter as well, or?
Yeah, what's an Easter tradition for you, or like is that a big thing there? Like, do you guys do the chocolate bunnies and all the things?
No, man.
Like,
I mean, it's like all those things. Like, you know, obviously Ireland is, you know, predominantly Christian Catholic country, and you know, a lot of those holidays are around, you know, Easter, Lent, Christmas and stuff like that. Christmas is huge here. I am not religious at all. I was brought up religious, but I was just like, no, it's not for me. I'm not a religious person at all. I'm a non-believer, agnostic, atheist, call me what you want. I don't believe in any of that personally. No disrespect to anyone who does. I have like devout Catholic friends, I have devout Muslim friends, and it's fine. I don't argue with them because I'm not going to change their minds, and why would I bother? And they're not going to change mine. But yeah, it's kind of like we're still. I feel like the older generation, it's still a bigger deal because for the actual religious context, and you know the rebirth of Jesus Christ and all that. But like, I feel for the younger generation, people like in their teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, I think it's really dying a death, like, you know, in terms of like the actual meaning of it. But people still give eggs and stuff like that, and it's, you know, there maybe people who travel home for Easter Sunday dinner, but it's not as big as Christmas is the huge one here. And even though like I'm not a religious person, Christmas always has fond memories for me, you know, from me a kid, and I love everything about Christmas. Like, yeah, the religious context aside, which yeah, I like Christmas, but I'm just
That's
not
fair.
religious. So, but yeah, Christmas
kind
is
of the
huge.
same.
Easter not so much.
I'm kind of the same way. I would definitely say when I was a kid, my parents would go pretty ham on it. Like we weren't religious families necessarily either, but we, I would always get celebrated with the family. Like whether I was at my mom's house or my dad's house, there was usually some kind of like nice dinner and maybe like a chocolate egg hunt or something along the lines. I remember when I was a kid, I woke up the one Easter morning at my dad's house that particular year, and he had wedged a big cotton ball in the front door of the house and made a huge deal. It was like, oh my goodness, son, look, come check this out. The Easter bunny got his tail stuck in the door on the way out. I was mortified. I felt so terrible. I was like this 10-year-old kid. I was like, oh my god, poor little guy, like, but totally had me sold on that. But the funny thing is that 420 being on the same day today, so I will say, weed is legal in Canada. It has been since 2018 now. There was a time when I was a much younger man where, this was the day where my friends and I, especially back when we were servers, we would book the day off. We would start the day by smoking for like several hours, and then we would all cab it down to this local buffet restaurant called the Mandarin. And the whole idea was like whoever could eat the most plates ate for free. So I had one buddy who ate, I'm not even kidding, like 14 plates at this buffet
God.
the one time after being super baked, and then all going home and then continuing to smoke for the remainder of the day. And while I'm now an adult and can do anything I want, today's the driest I've had a 420 in a very long time because I had to stream with you guys. I didn't want to be all red-eyed and awkward. So not that I'm not awkward anyways, let's be honest, but I didn't want to be extra awkward today for us. But the crazy thing, dude, is that the next time Easter and 420 fall on the same day, I will be 100 years old or dead, one of the two. But
Oh man,
yep, crazy. 63
how
years
did
from
you
now.
work out that fact?
I googled it. I was just like,
just
I'm
Googled
curious
it,
to
just-
see.
yeah,
Just
wow.
curious to see when it'll be, and it's something like 2086 or something like
Man,
that.
you just. I was thinking about this is kind of dark, like, but I was thinking about this the other day. Okay, this is my train of thought. It's. I saw this meme on Facebook, and it was a bunch of skaters who were just kind of hanging out. Just like there was like a ledge. There was like some of them just chatting, some of them were skating, some of them were just like smoking or whatever. And the caption was, "One day you and your friends went out to skate for the last time and nobody knew." And that broke my heart.
Dude,
Because it doesn't matter like whether you and your friends are into football, soccer, golf, skateboarding, just just hanging out, music, whatever you do. It's and then I started thinking like I watched Starship Troopers the other day. I rewatched it and I was like, man, I got like, it's a hot take, but it really didn't. I don't think it holds up at all. It was never a movie that I was blown away by, but I was like,
I can't kick you out because you're my only panelist.
Yeah,
but I wholeheartedly disagree.
It's I don't know. It's kind of like I was never sold on it, but I was like, there was parts of it I really liked, and then there was other parts that was like, okay, I'm not gone them, and then I just felt that the parts I really didn't like weren't they just really, I don't know, it just didn't hold up as good as I thought it would. But I don't think I'd watched that movie. I don't think I'd watched that movie. I don't know, for maybe 20 years. I don't know. Is it 20 years old? It's got to be 20 years old.
At least. Oh, easily. At least.
And it's a completely different movie. A Time to Kill, my fantastic movie. I saw that once when I think it first came out. Like, and I think that might be coming up on 30 years, but maybe just shy of 30 years. But that's a fantastic movie. But I just started thinking, there's probably movies out there that I absolutely love, and I will just watch them one day, and I won't realize, but that'll be the last time I watch that movie. Or there's probably people in my life who I really like, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll see them again. I'll spend more time with them, that I probably already had my last conversation with. And that just kind of, I'm not trying to be depressing. It's kind of like, you really got to savor those good times.
You do.
Yeah.
I had virtually the same conversation, just kind of in line with that the other day, because as my friend was telling me, the next 420 in Easter falls on the year 2087. So 62 years from now. So as I said, I will be 100 years old at that point or gone. He was also saying to me the other day, he's like, do you know that you have a death birthday? You just don't know when that is. So like every year you skip the day that you'll die on in the future, but you don't know what day that is. I was like, whoa, my God, what? No.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so yeah, now that everybody's super depressed, happy Easter. Welcome back
Bring
to
out
the
the
Ben Thomas
chocolate,
Show.
Ben.
I'll
The
get
chat
chocolate.
needs the
Yeah,
chocolate.
you only live once. Okay?
The chocolate.
That's right. The chocolate. Dude, yeah, happy Easter though, man. Happy Easter. I don't have any chocolate in this house. Starting back to the gym again tomorrow. I've been super lazy the last couple weeks because I'd injured my arm, and so I wasn't able to lift for 6 weeks. And as soon as the doctor tells you you don't have to lift for 6 weeks, I went off the deep end. I was eating chocolate, I was drinking again, like I was doing all the things. Back to healthy eating tomorrow. My arm feels better, so we'll see how it goes. You guys hopefully will see the transformation of Ben on this show. Let's talk a little bit about space travel, recreational space travel, and conspiracy theories. Some of you guys have had a chance to see some of the footage of Katy Perry and friends going up into space, allegedly, this last week. To be honest with you, I hadn't really thought much about this at all. I was just like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And then the more I thought about it, the more I thought recreational space travel is a cool idea. And if in the future that is something that we can do without absolutely devastating our environment by blasting rockets up into space constantly, which I don't know how we would do. Even just airplanes are pretty rough on the environment, vehicles, just cars in general, right? Our carbon footprint, all those things. But I was like, I would definitely consider doing that in my lifetime. If that was ever available, I would love to go up and float around in space and see what that's like. But then I had a friend of mine come to me and say, Ben, that was faked, right? Like that was totally not like that. They put that all on. That was on a sound stage. There's green screens. They opened the door before Jeff Bezos had a chance to come and open it for them. All these conspiracies have been flying around. So I was curious what your thought was, Shane, on the idea of recreational space travel. Is that something that you would ever consider if and when that's actually available to the common person like ourselves? And then for you, what do you think about conspiracies? Do you have any conspiracy theories yourself that stick with you? Or are you just a non-conspiracy guy? Are you just like, no, if that's what they said happened, that's what happened? What are your thoughts, buddy?
I'll start off with the Katy Perry and all that kind of stuff. Like celebrity gossip, I just don't care. I just don't care about the celebrity gossiping and stuff in the same way I don't care what's going on between Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and stuff like that. I love Ryan Reynolds and what he's done for Deadpool and stuff. I love that story about how he wanted to get that off the ground, put all his money into it, and I think he's done a great job with Deadpool and stuff. I like the guy. From the persona that he's portrayed and the work he's associated with, but I don't care about what's going on in their private life. I don't care. And the same way with this whole, I heard they did one of those tourist based when they go right up to, I can't remember what name of the exosphere or whatever it is for a few minutes, and they come back down again, and then she said she felt love and she had a daisy and she kissed the ground. That's just not interesting to me at all. I just think that's just promotional celebrity crap. It's ingenuine. I just don't I've no care about that. I'd more like to listen to a podcast with the two astronauts who were going to space for like 9 days and ended up being 9 months due to some malfunction. That would be extremely interesting to me. The photography of Chris Hadfield, the guy who used to take photographs from
an actual legit astronaut.
Yes, that is so much more interesting to me. But like, no, I don't have any interest in that. Space travel itself, okay, would it be cool to actually go on one of those trips and go that high into the atmosphere and see the Earth and see the curvature? 100%, absolutely, very, very cool. But in the same way, I it's weird. Like I have absolutely no interest in doing the opposite. Like going down into one of those submersibles to see the Titanic.
Jesus,
that is that just, I don't know what it is, makes my skin crawl. The actual thought of what can go wrong with that. Whereas the reality is going into space is probably just as dangerous or more. But the conspiracy theories, I have the big ones that come up, which are very well summarized in this infographic. No, man, I like. Okay, I don't think we'll ever know the full stories, but I think a lot of the stuff that actually happened is just face value, and like I know there's people out there that they say they faked the moon landing in the same way that they faked. I just don't think that's true. I'm not. I've heard that people who peddle these conspiracy theories, whether it's like the anti-vax crew or the 5G crew or whatever, there's always a new one. It's an attempt to control the narrative, so it gives them a sense of control when they're not in control. I heard some psychologists try to justify it like that. So no, conspiracy theories, nah, flat earthers and all that, just no. I'd rather go get my data from like legitimate sources, or whatever. No, just
the only one the one that sticks out to me conspiracy wise is
there's one I'm thinking about. I'm hoping it's the same.
Well, I know it's probably not the same. It's things like alien abductions and like aliens just coming to the planet and stuff like that. I do think aliens exist. I think our universe is too big. There's just too many stars. There's too many universes or galaxies. There's no chance that we are the only sentient life forms in the galaxy. Do I think we've been like taken up to like spacecrafts and experimented on? Not necessarily, but it wouldn't be surprising to me.
But you love the X-Files, didn't you?
But I loved the X-Files.
Hell yeah.
I love science fiction in general.
Yeah.
I also like listening to some of the conspiracies around like Egyptians, the Egyptians and pyramids and the construction of pyramids and how they were constructed, like how they would have needed like modern laser cutting technology and math like today in order to even create those, and yet they were able to do it, with rudimentary tools. But then there are pictographs of what seem like aliens and pictographs of what seem like functioning light bulbs and like electricity and like those types of things within the pyramids. So like, I think those conspiracies are cool because it's like, it's so long ago that we don't have a good way to verify it. And we base some of our history and understanding of, things like Neanderthals based on cave drawings that were found. So I don't see why we can't do the same when it comes to things like pyramids. But at the same time, we were there. So like, it's interesting to think about it that way. If aliens did come, were we just a pit stop? Did they just come and use our resources, help things get set up, and then continue on their way? And that's the last time we'll ever see them again. I'd be curious about that. There are sensitive subjects here, of course, that are even in this slide. Like the World Trade Center stuff. I don't even want to get into that. For me, like, I think that's what happened. But, I know that there's lots of theories on that. The downfall of that in general was that a lot of people passed away. A lot of people died. And so whether it's a conspiracy or not, it's a horrible, horrific situation that happened 100%. There.
Your take is
and should have never happened, no matter what happened, conspiracy or not, right? But some of the cool stuff, as I said, the thought pieces, the what happened, do aliens exist? Have they helped us with things like construction of pyramids? That kind of stuff sticks with me. I like listening to a little bit.
Do you know what I was thinking? I went to Cairo, to Giza, and I think I got that right. Giza, yeah, Giza. Mm-hmm. And I saw the pyramids and the Sphinx and everything. And the one thing I was thinking is, man, these things have been here for like thousands of years. I don't know the exact date, and I remember on the tour they told us, but I forgot. But and there's roads in Ireland that are only like 10 years old, and there's potholes which reform once a year and wreck people's cars. Like, how can these people with all like none of the tech that we have, or machinery, or industrial internal combustion engines, long before the Industrial Revolution, how can they get this right and we can't get a bloody road right? Come on. But yeah.
Did I say the conspiracy you were thinking of, or no?
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say JFK.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say JFK. There was just I don't know, stuff I've read about that. I'm like, okay, that is I can't answer that. But I was having a discussion with a friend the other day. I like a good documentary, but I've yet in my entire life. I've yet to see a documentary that isn't designed to get you to it. Basically, an unbiased documentary. I've never seen an unbiased documentary. Like off the top of my head, like Game Changers, the one about plant-based eating. It's clearly designed to get you to be a vegan. The King of Kong. Has anyone in the chat seen the King of Kong? Have you ever seen the King of Kong, Ben?
I've seen that. No, I've never heard of that one.
Okay, I'm going to try and sell this to you in 30 seconds.
Okay,
the King of Kong is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen in my life. And what it's about this one guy trying to break the world record on the classic arcade game Donkey Kong.
Cool.
Sounds terrible. Shouldn't be good. So good.
So good.
Well worth a watch. You will get sucked into it. The King of Kong. It even has a villain, but it's 100%. It's 100% made to make you get on side with this guy and get behind him and believe that the other guy. You can see the kind of villain character. See on the bottom, the guy on the left here with the suit and the beard. He's like the villain, you know. But he's probably a really nice guy. I don't know, but like
He's probably a really nice guy.
This guy could be great. It might help old ladies cross the street and give money to charity, and he could be like completely depicted in a negative way. I don't know, but that's my point. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, I've yet to see a documentary that when you're watching it, going, they're trying to. I can see their angle. It's like you're supposed to be making a fact-based thing, but they're not entirely unbiased.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of X-Files, I'll never use a public restroom, you know, like one of those like pit stop bathrooms, the same where it's just basically you like go to the bathroom in a hole. There was an X-Files episode that still sticks with me where like there was a dude living in the base of like those
Just
toilets.
the guy who could stretch.
Yeah, I think, well, he was all white and everything. I can't remember if he was stretchy or not, but he would grab you from below. Scared the shit out of me. I will never feel the same way about those things ever again.
That's a classic episode. It has a very specific name. I'm going to Google this and find it.
Horrible, scariness. So, guys, let us know in the chat as well. What conspiracy sticks out to you? What's one that you're like, ooh, maybe. It's definitely not Reed Richards, Adrian.
Squeeze. The episode was called Squeeze, I think.
Oh, gross.
I think that was it.
Uriel C says Nephilims. I don't know if I know what a Nephilim is. Bigfoot, Skinwalkers, the Greys. Bigfoot we were talking about last week on Let's Get
Loch
Nuts
Ness.
because the Loch Ness, yeah, of course. Well, we were saying like the Supergirl photo looks like the same camera they used to shoot Bigfoot. some of the tease pictures, right? So, yeah, guys, let us know what's your favorite conspiracy if you're watching on replay as well. Happy Easter to you guys. I feel warmed up. Let's talk a little bit about Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four has given us another teaser trailer. And they've shown a lot in the teaser trailer. Shout out to Marco. He was telling me a little bit about a YouTube channel that breaks these down. So I watched that the other day. I can't remember what the hell it was called. It was something like Screen Crush, but something along that vein anyways. And they did a good breakdown, showed some things. One of the things that I was curious about from you guys in the chat, but also you, Shane, was how do you feel about what the Silver Surfer is looking like at this point? Now, I'm not talking sexism here, guys. I don't care that she's a woman. She is a comic book character. She exists in the universe. I do not care that she's female. What I'm talking about is the CGI. If we're looking at the 2007 CGI Rise of the Silver Surfer from that second Fantastic Four film, he looked pretty good back then. We're talking a 2025 film at this point. And to be honest, I don't think she looks so good. I don't think she looks that great. Now, you can see the silver of her pupils. Some of that's kind of cool. I like the idea that she's in this. I think she's going to be a badass character. I'm excited for the film. But I'm kind of like not super stoked on the CGI here. I feel like they almost need to polish it a bit more. But otherwise, I am excited for this movie. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to... I don't want to give too much spoilers away just in case you haven't seen this the teaser, but there's some character developments that they kind of tease right from the get-go of future characters that end up coming out of Secret Wars and Doomsday, so I'm excited to see what happens with how Fantastic Four slots in with everything else we know about the MCU. But for me, I was a little disappointed by just the look of this character. So, did you have any thoughts, Shane? Have you had a chance to see the trailer at all? How did this sit
yeah,
with
I
you?
saw the trailer. I'm still like Fantastic Four. Just never really something I'm like, yeah, Fantastic Four. I can't wait. The hype is real. Just never something that I particularly gravitate towards. Maybe it's because, it's movies for me. It's and not comics. With that being said, I actually have read some Fantastic Four comic books because I believe I might have this completely arseways now, but I believe I think Spider-Man's first appearance might have been in a Fantastic Four comic book, but I have read a Fantastic Four comic book because I was curious because I was going back to the origin of the first appearance of some character. Someone in the chat, please fact check me, but I was basically curious about a character, and it said they first appeared in a Fantastic Four comic, and I went back and read that Fantastic Four comic, but not for the Fantastic Four, for that character. I think it was Spider-Man, but I could be completely wrong. Anyway, yeah, look, I'm going to touch a little bit on what you didn't want to touch on, and I'm going to try and do it as respectful as possible. Okay, I don't care if a character... There's some characters that need to be black. Black Panther needs to be black. Shaft needs to be black. You know, it's fine. There's certain characters that need to be a white Englishman. James Bond, he's written as a white Englishman. But this isn't one of those situations. This Silver Surfer... they haven't just done a gender swap. I believe the Silver Surfer, there's different versions. They're called Seraphs, am I right? And this particular female, there is a female version. So they haven't replaced the Silver Surfer, the 2007 one, with the female. They haven't done a straight gender swap. They've simply gone for the female version. Maybe we'll see the male version.
They're Heralds of Galactus.
Yeah,
Heralds
sorry, is it Herald, not Seraph? Sorry, I got that wrong. So I don't care if... to me, it's not important if the character is male or female or non-binary or fucking pansexual or bisexual or trisexual. It's not important to me. It's like, is the writing good? Is the story good? Is the character good? Does the design look good? But in this situation, I would agree with you. I don't think the design looks good. And I like this actress. I think she was in the show with Jason Bateman, a really depressing drug show.
Yeah.
That's not its official title.
But what the hell is it called? Ozark.
Ozark, yeah. She's a good actress. She was also played a girl called is it something Delphi or Lana Delphi or she plays this scam artist. She's a good actress. But I don't think she looks good here. I don't know, is it a CGI or the character design? She looks like she's wearing like some sort of a crown of like silver flowers. But it's actually just the shine of her hair. I hope the actual movie is a bit more stylized in this. I'm not feeling this, whereas the Silver Surfer actually looks quite cool with all the definition. There's not as much definition in her. She looks like the T-1000 when it's about to change from one thing to the next and it hasn't fully taken its shape yet. Yeah,
100%.
That's what it looks like. It just looks
100%.
like it's like those colors. You know those like I don't like colors that are like trying to be green but they're a little bit brown. It's like, what are you? Are you brown or are you green? I can take an olive or a khaki, but just make a decision. Like I was doing in the middle colors. Like she's kind of like molding into something. She hasn't decided what. She's like, I don't know. She's like, no. I don't think it looks particularly good.
Well, and Jacques Ron 2 says the only issue with this is Norrin Radd is the Silver Surfer. Shalabal, who is the version, is his love. I was hoping to maybe get Norrin Radd for the good Fantastic Four movie. I think that there's a chance that we're going to see both. There was an actor who had posted that he thought he had the Silver Surfer role, who then immediately took that post down after this trailer went up. And so I'm wondering if there are going to be multiple Silver Surfers. I would not be surprised, right? If it's a multiverse kind of style story, there's absolutely an opportunity to have both. So this might be the first version that they're teasing for this particular universe, right? Maybe she's going to come and help Galactus consume the planet that Fantastic Four exists on, and as a result, where do the Fantastic Four go now? They have to hop dimensions, right? They have to hop into another universe. I think that could be where this story goes. And if think about it, from what we've seen from the trailer, if the Fantastic Four are loved heroes on this planet, and then they have to abandon the entire world, how devastating will that be to watch? I think that could be pretty crazy. So, and, think about it, like, if you think about when Thanos wins, right? When he snaps his fingers and half the universe gets erased, and then the film ends, how, like, just, that wasn't even, it was a cliffhanger, but it was like a devastating moment, right? Seeing our heroes just turned into ash in front of our face, could be the same feeling we get from a Fantastic Four crew having to watch their planet consumed by Galactus. Now, I'll be curious to see how they do Galactus. When I talk about CGI, you mentioned the T-1000, Shane. I think that's a good call because that movie is a 30-year-old film. And even still, I think the T1000 looks almost better than the CGI from what they're teasing in this
probably an unfair
trailer.
comparison, seeing it was like a groundbreaking ahead of its time. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's still better than CGI that came with movies 15 years after it, you know? Can I just make a point, though? The whole male and female thing, I don't necessarily think it's like... I don't necessarily. I think there's some people out there who are just like, oh my god, it's a gender swap. We don't want a female or whatever. And maybe there is that kind of type of group out there. Okay,
sure.
Push them aside. But then there's probably people who just like want good design and good story, like myself and yourself. Like if you think of how cool X-23's comic accurate look is, super cool, super seductive, really well drawn, and like nobody complaining. But even like if you look at X-23 in Deadpool and Wolverine, like she was just basically wearing a jeans and a kind of like a rock t-shirt, and like she had the glasses, and she still looked cool. Do you know what I mean?
She was still cool, but it was a big complaint for me that they didn't comic accurate her up a little bit. I felt like it was a bit of a missed opportunity, I will say.
But you know, we're going to see it. We're going to see it.
You're not wrong. And she's getting older by the moment. She's going to be the next. She's going to be the next yellow suited baddie, let's be honest. And it's interesting here. Starcrash says, Starcrash 1138, the CGI is still 4 months away from release, work in progress. I would love to believe that is the case. I think that is an absolutely optimistic viewpoint. I'm an optimistic person by nature. But if I'm going to quote my buddy Marco from 16fix, you have to control the message. If this is a teaser and a preview of what's to come, if you are showing unfinished workmanship, you're just asking for what, 1/3 of your audience to be like, doesn't look as good, not interested anymore, no longer care. Wow, doesn't that CGI look bad? It just creates the wrong message. I think this is finished product. I think this is exactly what we'll see in the film. And are we going to see moments that look better than others? Probably, right? Like this was, less than a minute worth of actual footage. On the other hand, they got to control the message. If this is not a final cut, if this is not what this is going to look like, then they just hurt their own brand by it. And I don't think it doesn't make sense to me that CGI 15-20 years ago still looks just as good. It doesn't make sense to me. I get it that there's money in existing and there's all this stuff, but Marvel's $1 billion franchise. They have the money to make sure that they got the messaging tight. Otherwise, I would have rather see them tease like a surfboard. Don't show us the Silver Surfer. Show us her surfboard, or show us something that's like, oh, she's coming, but she's not finished yet.
100%. Do like a kind of a guerrilla marketing. Okay, man, we can't show them this. This is not finished. Just show them her anything. Like, do you know what I mean? Show them something.
Absolutely. We got Brendan Riley in the chat saying, breaking news, Hot Toys just revealed a 1/6 zombie Jesus. Can you imagine? That'd be horrible, dude. That's hilarious. Hope you're doing well, buddy. I miss seeing you on the panels all the time, by the way. I just putting it out there. Latora says, exactly, Ben, this isn't a Kickstarter campaign. Pedro, as Reed Richards, is a total fail. Looks old, and 10 years for Secret Wars. He'll be in his mid to late 60s, looking 70. He does look a little on the old side. I agree with you on that one.
But maybe this people will not want to hear this. Maybe this entire movie is not about the Fantastic Four. It's about how much of a galaxy, not an Avengers level threat, a galaxy level threat Galactus is, and they all die. Like, imagine? Purely just to like, this guy's
they Rogue One us. They Rogue One us. Everybody dies.
Like, and like I think it'll be in the same way that like the first time you really see Thanos. See, I'm trying to enunciate. Thanos playing tennis. You basically played tennis with the Hulk and what's it? Thor at the start of Infinity War. You're like, okay, this guy just made shite of these two boys, and these are like two of the biggest. Like they have arguments of who's the strongest Avenger, and Thanos has just kicked the both of their butts. You know what I mean? So maybe they're trying to do that to show just like how immense this character is. This guy eats planets, I believe. some appetite.
Consumes them.
Yeah. And plus, it's not Earth. It's not the real Earth. It's a different Earth. So they could do that and throw them away and then bring in some other Fantastic Four. To be honest, that's a bit of a Halo reach there. I don't think that's actually going to happen. They've signed these people up. I presume they have contracts for multiple movies, but yeah.
True, but okay. Here, where's my spoilers? Where's my spoilers thing? Okay, guys, I'm gonna talk spoilers of the trailer for like 10 seconds. So just mute if you don't watch trailers. If you do not watch trailers, and you do not want to hear my point of view here, mute yourself for like the next 15 seconds. I will take this down as soon as I stop talking. Okay. Sue Storm in this trailer is pregnant, right? So maybe Reed does die in the film. Maybe the next generation is his son. And what happens with his son, he becomes essentially an Omega level being in the comics. And in the comics, he takes a very prominent role after Secret Wars and after after Secret Wars especially. You get to see multiple versions of him. But they technically have, Reed and Sue, they technically have 2 children in the comics. And so maybe Reed dies by the end of this film, but maybe Reed gets kind of phased out for his son to kind of come to fruition in future Avengers films or in future Marvel Cinematic Universe. So just because he's old now doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to stick with Pedro. Because the other thing is Pedro's a pretty big actor. We joke about the fact that the guy's in everything lately. I can't imagine they're going to sign this guy up for 10 years necessarily. I feel like they're going to move on, but continue what we see from this Fantastic Four crew, because there are other younger versions of the characters here as well. But I don't know, Franklin, he's a possibility. Franklin's a big piece of the comics. So guys, let us know. We have almost 50 people watching live. Thanks for getting nuts with us here on Easter Sunday. Happy 420 if you celebrate. If you don't, happy Easter. Either way, hope you're having some fun, some chocolate, some bunny love. Bunny love. I don't know if that plays well, but let's just go with it.
No, I
hope
believe
there's
a vibrator called a rabbit, so no.
I hate to see it. Take the rabbit home and have your bunny love. Okay, don't tell us about it. We don't want to hear it on the chat.
No, God.
Guys, let's move on.
Let's keep
here.
it clean, folks. Keep it clean.
Let's keep it clean. We got Hayden Christensen confirmed to return in Ahsoka Season 2. We have Star Wars Starfighter also teased, of course, with the likes of Ryan Gosling coming to coming to the team, coming to the Star Wars Disney crew. Now, okay, like I said earlier, I'm a pretty optimistic person, Shane, but the pessimistic side of me says I won't totally believe that Star Wars Starfighter is actually coming until they start filming that film, because we've seen quite a few other films teased over the last several years, Rogue Squadron being one of them and a couple others, that just never came to fruition, and they were teased very much the same way, and then they just lay dormant until people forgot about it entirely, and then they just got dusted off, and that was it. So I don't totally believe that this is going to be a thing until it's actually a thing. Now, what I will say is that from everything I've seen so far from Star Wars Celebration, there's been some exciting announcements, and it seems like it's been a pretty good celebration. I'm a little bit jealous that I could not go. I like Ryan Gosling as a prospective character within the Star Wars cinematic universe. I know he's a big name. I know people recognize him as, oh, that's Ryan Gosling. People will recognize him as Ken and various other roles that he's done. But from my experience with Ryan Gosling, I always believe for the most part whatever character he's playing, whether that's Blade Runner 2049 or whether it's Ken or whether it's The Notebook or whatever Ryan Gosling movie you like. He's pretty freaking believable in his roles, and he also just has a draw to him. There's something about him that kind of feels to me like Harrison Ford. He's just got that movie star action hero.
He's got range, is what he's got.
He's got range, and he's fun to watch. I recently watched the movie Fall Guy with him in it. I don't know much about stunt performers. I didn't really care about the movie at all. That movie had me laughing. It had me tear up. It was really good action, really good story, and featured him. And I was like, man, once again, Ryan Gosling proves that he's one of my favorite actors that exists today. So if he can bring his weight to Star Wars, yeah, I would see this movie. I would definitely see a movie with him in it. And just like Harrison Ford ended up being Indiana Jones and many other various awesome roles, Harrison Ford still portrayed Han Solo, right? When you think about Star Wars, you think about Han Solo in a lot of ways. I think Ryan Gosling has that weight behind him that he could create a new character within Star Wars that people hold on to for 20, 30, 40 years. In terms of Ahsoka here, I'm happy to hear that Hayden Christensen is making a return. I'm sure some level of flashback or simulation or who knows what, but hopefully that just ups the value of all those dark side Annies that people just got, or Darth Vader Annies that people got. So we'll see how that goes. I saw that line sold out pretty damn quickly at Celebration for those 1,000 that were available at the lineup. But what are your thoughts on Ryan Gosling here being teased for a Star Wars film? What are your thoughts, Shane, on the fact that lots of Star Wars films have been teased have just never come to fruition? Do you think that could be the case here? And overall, have you seen anything else from Star Wars Celebration that you're excited about, getting your juices flowing?
Well, first of all, I was in Star Wars Celebration in London 2023, and I knew I'd enjoyed it, but I didn't realize how much I'd enjoyed it. I was supposed to go to Japan, but I had to make a call. I'm planning on a Japan snowboarding trip. I was telling you backstage, and I couldn't justify going to Japan twice in 1 year. I couldn't afford going to Japan twice in 1 year, so I chose the snowboarding trip. It's kind of like a bucket list thing. Japan is famous. It's nicknamed Japao in snowboarding and ski circles because they get some of the finest powder ever, So yeah, so I had to make a call. But I watched a lot of the live stuff. This I do think is going to happen. They're in pre-production. They're due to start shooting in August. And there's a few reasons why I think it'll happen. So Ryan Gosling is on board. Sean Levy has been selected. I am actually inclined to think that this will happen. Things like the Rey movie, which they say there's going to happen and you hear nothing about, I think that might be because they actually gauge the crowd and they kind of maybe do focus groups and stuff like that and realize people don't want to see that. The vast majority, you might be watching now and be an absolute diehard sequel fan and a diehard Rey, and Rey might be your character. Fine. But I think the vast majority of people don't want to see that Rey movie. And I think maybe they actually do enough polls or focus groups and realize, yeah, that's not going to be a runner. It's not going to make us money. So this here, I do think is going to happen. You got Sean Levy in there, okay? Mm-hmm. Sean Levy, Deadpool and Wolverine could have been an absolute dumpster fire. It had potential. It could have been a dumpster fire. But for the most part, he handled the character of Deadpool and Wolverine, which have already, Deadpool had 2 movies already, and he came in and directed the 3rd. Wolverine had X amount, X-Men movies, his own solo movies. He had Logan, one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, but he handled the 2 characters and merged them together with respect and care. It might not have been a 5-star movie, but it was pretty damn good. So I think in terms of taking a franchise, handling it with care, telling a good story, but yet respecting the actual IP and the lore, I think he has experience with that. So I think that's in good hands. I do think this movie is going to happen. Ryan Gosling, let's just put out a few movies here. Okay, when I think Ryan Gosling, the first thing I think of is Blade Runner 2049 because that's my favorite Ryan Gosling movie, and Drive 2011. All right, now he was fantastic in First Man as well. The story of Neil Armstrong going to space, someone who actually went to space, not Ryan Gosling, but
real astronauts.
A real astronaut, Neil Armstrong. But then if you flip that, Barbie, I saw Barbie. Is it in my 4K collection? No. Am I going to want figures from it? No. Do I really want to watch it again?
One to rock, one to stock.
It was funny. I went in going, I'm being put here because, like a lot of heterosexual males in a couple, you saw Oppenheimer one week, you saw Barbie the next. We were there. Go on. Yeah. There was it was a date night, so but it was funny, and the funniest part was Ryan Gosling because he plays a total douche and he wasn't afraid to commit to the role of complete douchery. He did it so good though. He was really, really good at it. Sure. The Notebook, your rom-com, he was in The Big Short. He was in I'm just looking at some of the movies.
I really liked Gray Man.
I've never seen Gray Man, but there was another
it's a fun action
movie.
It's not a great movie, but it's a fun action movie.
Crazy Stupid Love. So he's done his rom-coms, he's done his science fiction, he's done his kind of dark, dry movies. He's got range. He falls into that category of like, I remember being younger going, oh, Brad Pitt, he's just a pretty boy. That's why he's famous. But then I saw Fight Club, and then I saw Snatch, and then I saw Inglourious Basterds. I was like, man, this guy actually has range as well. So he's kind of like that kind of like, he's a handsome guy, but I do think he actually has range and he's quite talented. So he's kind of won me over times with some of his better movies. So I'm interested to see the combination of Sean Levy and him. And I know Kathleen Kennedy is a bit of a dirty word, but she kind of said, without saying it, she goes, this is set in a completely different time period. It's set after episode 9. It's set after The Rise of Skywalker. That's a movie I saw once and will never watch again.
Sure.
It's set in a completely different time period. She basically said in the interview, on the panel was her, Ryan Gosling, and Sean Levy at Star Wars Celebration in Japan, like 2 days ago or whatever it was, that we're looking beyond episode 9. So I reckon they want this to work so they can maybe use this as a springboard for episode 10, 11, 12.
The next
Who knows?
evolution. Yeah.
Like, they're going to be making these. This is a business. They're going to be making them. And what I've realized is like people, and I'm guilty of it too, will give out about Disney and the direction they've taken Star Wars, okay? Fine. It's very easy for me to go, The Acolyte, crap. Book of Boba Fett, pretty much for the most part a miss. Kenobi, very mid, as the kids would say, or underwhelming, and I don't care for XYZ. However, they've given us Rogue One. Fantastic. They kind of bred life into the IP with Mandalorian season 1 and 2. Fantastic stuff. And Andor is the best written Star Wars we've ever got. And season 2, I haven't seen it, fine. But what I have seen, there's the early reviews are kind of coming in, and it's basically what I read one thing today with no spoilers. It was like, season 2 is different to season 1, but my God, it's still excellent. And it's some of the best written Star Wars since the original trilogy. And like, it's so Disney have given us that. So my point is, they're going to keep making these movies. It's a menu. And Bad Batch mightn't be for you. They might be the prawns of the menu. They're not for you. But you might go over here and go, oh hell, Andor, that's for me. That's the chicken burger or whatever. And the original trilogy is your steak, whatever. You don't have to like everything on the menu. But like, I got to a stage where I was like, yeah, Star Wars is kind of done. And then The Mandalorian came out and I'm thankful for it. And then Andor came out and I'm thankful for it. Do I like all the stuff that's coming out? No, but I'm hoping that this will be something good. So yeah, sorry, I went off on one. I'm looking forward to this. It could be absolute nonsense, but with the combination of Sean Levy at the helm, Ryan Gosling, fine. It could be something to look forward to. Mandalorian and Grogu, from the very low res trailer I saw, I did like what I saw. I like what I saw, and I'm looking forward to seeing an actual proper image that wasn't recorded on someone's phone. Hayden Christensen coming back to Ahsoka, I can take or leave. I know that's sacrilegious, but yeah,
so true. Jim Collector says, all happy for Ryan Gosling in Star Wars as long as it's a good story. Of course.
Yes.
Of course, right? I mean, you can put the best actor ever in a film, and if it's a terrible story, it's still not going to float to the surface as one of the best films 100%. Of all time by any stretch. When I think about Ryan Gosling, and maybe I can be challenged on this, maybe you guys know one in the chat, I can't think of a Ryan Gosling film that I hated, that I was like, wow, that was like a dumpster fire movie. I freaking hated that movie. I can't think of one. I can think of lots of Brad Pitt films that I loved and hated. I can think of lots of other, like, big name actor films that have come out over time that I did not like. I can't think of one that I'm like, man, Ryan Gosling was in that. I really didn't like that movie, surprisingly. Every time he shows up, I enjoy the movie.
As Ken, man, people like, oh, it was mostly men, to be fair. Absolute shat on Barbie. Oh my God, the agenda. Oh my God, get over yourself. It's a movie and girls liked it and some guys liked it. And just get over it. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean you're gay if you like it. Fine. Like, it's funny. It's funny. And he was so funny as Ken. And there was a lot of dancing. Like, some of the choreography in the dancing is just as hard as the choreography in a fight scene. Like, it just blows my mind. Like,
it was also a lot deeper than I expected. It was a lot deeper because it did talk a lot about male stereotype, but also female stereotype. It went into both sides. I thought it was a pretty well-divided film. It showed the pitfalls and the wins of both sexes. I thought they did a good job on it. It was deeper
you know what
than I
cracked me up?
expected.
What absolutely cracked me up. Okay, a lot of it did, but one bit that constantly cracks me up is the bit with the guitar. When the guys are all singing the exact same cheesy song to the girls. It just, that concept blows my mind. We've all been at a party
For sure.
when the guy takes out the guitar and it's like, okay, you're going to do your 3 songs now. Yeah, just stop.
Bad Gadget says Sean Levy at Celebration said the new movie is in pre-production and they're filming it already. So pre-production, though, is really just planning. That's not necessarily meaning that they're filming yet. Other films have been in pre-production with Star Wars before, and the director has been confirmed and all of the things, and then they've walked away. So again, I won't believe it until it's beyond pre-production and actually in production. But I am with Shane on this one. I don't think at this point they would have gone too heavy into that unless they were like, yeah, this is actually going to happen this time. Jim Collector says 420. We'll do that. Shane is helping. I love to see it. Hope Jim and Vita out there in the world are doing well. We are going to get Jim and his partner Vita on Let's Get Nuts very, very soon. They were doing Easter celebration with their families today, so I tried, but unfortunately I failed at getting them here. But we will get them here soon because love those guys. They are awesome folks as well as I send out an invite to 12-inch Moose Dream today for the May 4th celebration LGN. So if you haven't already seen it, Moose, I know you're in the chat, buddy. You can tell me if you want to join us. Hello, collectors. Tijuana Mike, aka King Churro, another guy we need to get on Let's Get Nuts here at some point. But guys, let us know if you're excited about the prospect of Ryan Gosling in a film. Are you just excited about Star Wars coming back as films as opposed to TV? To be honest, that's for me where I'm feeling most excited about. I've always felt like Star Wars played better on the big silver screen. I like going to the movies to see Star Wars films. And while I was disappointed by Rise of Skywalker, I agree with you, Shane. I still didn't hate that movie nearly as much as some people do. So maybe that's because I'm a Star Trek fan. So I'm willing to accept both realms that they just exist in life.
Just to be clear,
we'll
I thought the movie was terrible.
43 people just left. Yeah.
But
that's
you know what's interesting though? Sorry, that out of all the this. I think the Mandalorian and Grogu, hopefully it's the season 1 and 2 energy, and hopefully that's, yeah.
I hope so too, yeah.
I'm intrigued. Look, you have X-Wings in the poster. Is this just like an AI mock-up, or is this an actual thing they released?
This was a post on Screen Rant, so I think that this is a legit poster. Yeah.
I hope the main ships are X-Wings, not modified X-Wings. Actual X-Wings, because they're amazing. But the Andor hype is so real, Ben. As in, they're giving us 3 episodes a week for 4 weeks. It's like seeing a full two anywhere. It could be some of the episodes in total 2 to 2.5 hours. Mm-hmm. It's like a Star Wars movie every single week, cast into your house for 4 weeks. That is epic. That's so exciting.
I'm pretty excited. Andor's getting hyped up for me. I really enjoyed the first season. I was surprised how many people thought it was boring. I thought it was amazing writing, but again, that's not everybody has a different love for Star Wars. There was no lightsabers. There was none of that kind of stuff. And for some people, that is what Star Wars is too, right? So I get that. I get that feeling, but I am excited for all of what's to come. Star Wars was really taking a dive before Mandalorian, right? People were selling their collections. They didn't, they weren't excited for Star Wars anymore. And then the Mandalorian came to fruition and it was like, boom, all of a sudden, everybody loves Star Wars again. But I didn't love Mandalorian season 3, so I'm also not that excited for a Mandalorian film yet. So we'll see. But guys, let's say hi to everybody. We got 50 people watching live on Easter Sunday. Shane had to take a quick break to grab himself another drink, I'm sure. So he will be back in a few minutes. But let's say hi to everybody while we have the opportunity to do so.
Is that everyone? I can want it more.
Nuts!
Assemble.
Nuts assemble. Let's go all the way back to the top and say hi to everybody. We've got Pop Culture Relics here. What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a great Easter Sunday, my friend. We got Jose Plus in the chat with us as well. Happy Easter, as well as 420. Good to see you, buddy. I'm going to mention Jose at the end of the show because next Saturday I am on Meso Menos in the Shark Tank against Feezy's Figures. I will talk a little bit about that at the end. Thalia Meyer here in the chat. Hello, happy Easter, everyone. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. Valkyrie Magnus in the chat. Happy Easter, Ben Thomas Show. I will catch the rest of you on the show later. Enjoy your Easter with your family, my friend. As always, I am Vengeance is here. Hello, fellow collectors. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. We got Rachel Miller, my mom, the person who created all the nerdism and part of the reason I even have a YouTube channel to begin with. Let's be honest. Happy Easter to you. Hi, Ben. Love you, Mumsy. Love to see it. We got 12-inch Moose Stream here in the chat. He says, hello, community of collectors. I'm not an actual weed guy, but I'm high on figures. The plastic crack. I think most of us definitely are there, buddy. We got Field Burn in the chat with us as well. Good to see you, my friend. Well. Hello, guys. Good to see you, buddy. Happy Star Wars celebration from Adrian and Underwood. Good to see you here as well, my friend. Thanks for being here. We got Ethan in the chat with us. Good to see you here. We got Rogue One Photography as well. Hey, panel and chat. Happy Easter to you as well, of course. We got Thor Gaming, my brother Jacob. Happy Easter, bro. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well over on the East Coast there as well. We got Fad Gadget here. It was a bear thing. Just wait until it all goes wrong. Boom. I think that was in relation to the Katy Perry news there. Uriel C with their, of course, conspiracy theories there. We got JB in the chat as well. Adrian Underwood, love to see you here, buddy. Thanks for being here, of course. Let's see. Star Crash 1138 is a newer name in the chat, but I'm happy to have you here with us. We've got Mike Latoris in the chat saying hi to everybody. We got Big Rip, as Dean would say. Everyone, make sure you hit that like button for these gentlemen. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you being here as always. We got Jim Collector in the chat. Hopefully you and Vita are watching and enjoying your time with your family, of course. We got Jagron 2, Mr. Lane Kramer. Hey, Space Nuts. Hope you are doing well tonight. Of course we are, my friend. Let's see here. Oh, we do have Vita in the chat. Let's say hello to her as well. It is nice to have some female presence in our community at the end of the day. Let's be honest. We need more. Bring your friends. Bring your friends, Vita. We got Brendan Riley in the chat. Good to see you with his Marvel Jesus coming back. You'll love to see that as well, buddy. Let's see here. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Matt with a RIP Norenrad. I bet we'll see Norenrad again. Don't you worry. Mark my words. We got Blur Dad Life, one of our channel members here. Just wanted to swing by and say what's up. We'll catch the replay later. Thanks for being here, buddy. Definitely appreciate you. I hope you're having a great Easter, of course. L Walker with Not a Fan. Not sure what you're talking about, buddy, in terms of this particular moment, but I hope you are doing well, of course. Matt with a RIP Rogue Squadron. You hate to see that as well. Because honestly, Rogue Squadron, one of my favorite N64 games of all time. So when they announced that movie originally, I was like, man, that's gonna be so good. But we got Tijuana Mike, aka King Churro, one of our channel members. Good to see you here, buddy. Thanks for being here. Connor in the chat. Hopefully get some EP3 announcements this week or next. I bet we will. Don't you wait. Don't you worry, I should say. Peak Obi-Wan, hello there, new to the chat. Happy Easter. Thanks for being here, man. Hopefully you are enjoying the show so far. Getting nuts with us on a Sunday. Of course, we have Akira here as well. Now, I will drop the channel membership here in the link below. Give me 1 second. Let me get that up for you guys. Wow, that sounded nasty. I apologize in advance. Let's see here. Memberships. I'm going to drop this link for you guys. If you are interested in becoming a channel member on the Ben Thomas Show, it is the Tough Nut Crew. We now have 41 channel members. As of today, I wanted to give a very special shout out to Aaron Broverman, who became a channel member after last week's episode. So he became it on the replay. Clearly, we missed him on the live show, I should say. So thank you so much for becoming a channel member, Aaron. You are the 41st channel member here. We are going to be doing some channel member giveaways, especially when we get up to 50 channel members. So your chance, of course, of winning would be 1 in 50 if you are one of us. If not, I'm just happy that you're here, getting nuts with us, subscribed, and just watching the show. So we do have our Tough Nut Crew here. I will read all of your names at the end of the show, as I always do. If you are interested, these are our channel membership badges that show up beside your name. If you are a channel member, of course, the longer you are a nut, tough nut with us, the better your badge gets. And I am also taking some suggestions. So if you guys want to see any character created as a nut badge in the future, definitely let me know. Of course, there as well. Oops, hit the wrong direction there. And then last but not least, we have our membership emojis. So if you are a channel member, please throw some emojis here in the chat, and we will use them as we go along throughout the show. But guys, let's get on to our 6 scale news. To the 54 folks watching, just a reminder, if you're just joining us, if you don't mind hitting the like button, it just helps to get Let's Get Nuts out to the universe for all the people to find us and have more fun with us in the future. You'll love to see it. Mr. Shane, Asmus makes a return with a Saruman. And, I will say, I've shared my love of Lord of the Rings, but I've also shared some of the stories. For me, Lord of the Rings reminds me of a girl I used to really, really like, and when I was young, I wanted to date this person, and I went and stood in line for Return of the King. This was back before you could buy, reserved seating at the movie theater. We had to wait in line for 4 hours, and then it was about a 3.5 hour movie. So it was like a 7.5 or 8 hour day with this person, and it was like greatest day of my life. I could have stood in that line all day just because I got to hang out with this person. My love of Lord of the Rings, though, when it comes to figure collecting, isn't quite the same. But one person out there in the world who I will say has really shown me how good Asmus can be is Zach, our buddy over Collecting Weekly, the Oxfather. He's got an amazing collection of Gandalfs, and the one that they recently did, the Gandalf the Grey, looked fantastic. And I know that there's also some versions out there that exist within InArt, but Asmus has been kind of the mainstay for Lord of the Rings up until InArt started to take on that mantle. I will honestly say this looks, for me, pretty good. There's an element of his face that I still think could use a little bit of tweaking, but I love that they've given him the straightened hair look. I think that looks great. I think the beard looks fantastic. The accessories coming here are pretty solid. I honestly think if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, to have him posed up against Gandalf the Grey in that pinnacle scene before he becomes Gandalf the White, I think that is a really cool display idea. And so as a result, I think this is a pretty awesome figure from Asmus for the most part. I know exactly who this is supposed to be, even if I think the face could use just a little bit of tweaking, just a little bit. But are you an Asmus guy? Have you ever collected anything Asmus? And what is your love for Lord of the Rings? I can't remember, honestly, at this point, buddy.
I don't have anything from Asmus. I do think this looks good, but I don't have the eye for the character. I think the Lord of the Rings original trilogy is one of the best movie trilogy of all time. And every time I watch it and enjoy it, I just don't collect from it. And every time I watch it, it reminds me of New Zealand, because I can see why they chose to film those movies there, because it just has that beautiful and highly varied scenery. The ending from the snow-capped mountains to the glaciers to like just the glaciated lakes and valleys and stuff like that. It's just a beautiful place. But I don't have the eye for the character, but yeah, I know who it is. It's your man who plays Dooku, isn't it? What's this dude's name?
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christopher Lee. But
which,
no,
you know what? I never put those two together. I never put those two together. I did not realize that was the same person.
Yeah,
how crazy is that?
Christopher Lee, yeah. He played Dracula and stuff like that a bunch of times, and I think he was in a Bond film as well. I can't remember.
Matt says this looks like an old Christian Bale. I don't agree with that. Vita sees it. I don't see it. I don't see a Christian Bale in here.
Oh man, yeah, I know. It's a top left there. I can kind of see it, a small bit.
Oh yeah,
I can kind of see it.
Let's throw this one up. Okay, maybe in this one on the left.
I can kind of see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
I can kind of see.
But in terms of Lord of the Rings, has that been like something that you wanted to collect from much, or
no? The closest I was, the Aragorn, because I thought the prototype was the strongest prototype I've ever seen for 6 scale, and it turned out well as well. But that was the closest I was. But it's kind of like Back to the Future, like great trilogy. Just like they are iconic movies in the purest sense of the word, just well made, will stand the test of time. But I don't collect from either of them. I just feel like a bit of an imposter if I was picking up an Aragorn. I just don't think I love them as much as I should to justify buying them. Like, yeah, I have nothing bad to say about either of the trilogies or the in-art stuff. Just not for me. That's it.
I think Asmus has made a huge leap forward though. When I first started seeing Asmus collectibles, when I was kind of getting into 6 scale, and Zach would show me the occasional Asmus figure, I was like, I don't know. Like, I mean, like, if it fills the void, I get it, but I think that there's companies that could do it better. And then when InArt started to show, you know, what they could do, kind of like you mentioned with Aragorn and some of those other figures, I was like, yeah, see, this is kind of what I was expecting. But ever since InArt kind of made their way onto the scene, I do think that Asmus has fine-tuned their abilities a little bit. Not maybe it's their technology that's getting better. Their paint apps definitely seem better. Yeah, like, I mean,
Competition is
okay,
good.
now that I'm looking at this picture, I do see a little bit of Christian Bale in there. I hate to admit it, I didn't see it at first, but the more he stares at me, the more I see it. But like, okay, it's interesting because that Dooku figure from Hot Toys is still considered one of the best likenesses in terms of a figure that's existed, right? We haven't even got a Dooku 2.0. That Dooku like 1.0 is really amazing, and Christopher Lee is definitely present in that head sculpt. A little bit less so here, but again, with the beard and the iconic hairstyle, you know who this is supposed to be. So I do think Asmus is on the right track. I know that I think it was Asmus that actually gave a re-upgraded head sculpt at some point for Gandalf as well. They'd had one, and I think they actually gave an upgrade to it at some point and sent it out to people. They've done a bunch of those types of things where, you know, like if you weren't happy, or it was the hat. It might have been the hat, Gandalf the Grey hat. They resent out like a free hat to everybody who'd got that original figure because people were complaining that they didn't like it. So I like that Asmus as a company is at least willing to hear the collectors. I do think that that's a win. 12-inch Moose Stream with a 15 membership month chat says, thank you for being a member that long, buddy, by the way. Appreciate it. It says, need a pinhead, not honored for the panel offer. Yeah, we will get you on here in a couple weeks, buddy. Definitely happy to have you here. Of course, a pinhead nut. That could be a crazy nut design, actually, for Dean the Dream. That's a Hellraiser, I think, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'm not a big horror guy, I will admit, but that could be a cool one. CG says, I love the Asmus, I'd love for Asmus to reissue the Leon figure. Was that Leon from Resident Evil? Let me know if that's the one you mean. I don't know his last
John
name, so
Renault,
I'm not sure if
Leon the
that's who you're
Professional,
supposed to
maybe,
be.
you know.
Oh,
I don't think did Asmus ever do? I don't know.
I don't remember them doing that one. Let me know what
didn't.
Leon you're talking about, CG. I'm not familiar with the last name, so I could be getting that wrong. Big Dog Pound says a predator nut or an alien nut would be also awesome. Can you imagine a xenomorph nut? You'll love to see that. Oh yeah, professional is what Pop Culture Relic says. So thanks for getting that specified for us, buddy. Definitely. I'll move on from this because I'm certainly not a Lord of the Rings expert, but I did want to highlight the fact that this now exists, just in case it was something that you guys were interested in. Talking about Star Wars Celebration earlier, there's been a couple teases that have been shown. This was, I think, in my opinion, kind of the main slide that stuck out to me from some of the figure collectibles that Hot Toys put on display. Some of them we've seen before, some of them not necessarily. I think the 2, maybe 3 that really stick out to me here the most is, of course, Jar Jar Binks. I know a lot of people thought that, like, oh, well, they showed Jar Jar Binks a couple months ago, and, like, maybe he's just going to be that graveyard figure or something that, you know, Hot Toys, you know, kind of dipped their toe in to see what the hype would be and then said, no, thank you. Also, Poe Dameron. I mean, like, obviously people have been waiting for a Poe Dameron for a really long time, and Oscar Isaac is a badass. He's a figure collector himself, so he, in my opinion, deserves as many 6-scale figures as he can get. But we did see that Oscar Isaac head sculpt with the Moon Knight figure, Shane, so I wonder if they're going to reuse that or if they're going to tweak him a little bit, but I'd be curious to see a Poe Dameron figure actually made. Poncho Annie also in the back there. Don't care about that. In the
Poncho Annie.
Poncho Annie.
That's funny.
They put
Poncho
on his like little his little screen title that it's the Naboo version. I went back. I had a hard time finding what scene they were referencing with his little poncho. So for me, it's not.
Was he not wearing a poncho in episode 2 when he slaughtered?
It would have been episode 2 because it, like, again, they're saying this is the Naboo
Tusken
version.
Raider slaughtering Annie. Would that not be?
I don't remember it being that clean, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it wasn't clean when he's finished with those Tuskens.
And then a Palpatine. The only other one that stuck out to me here was that Palpatine because he's got like the weathered hands. but his face looks like it's clean. So this to me looks like it's a bit of a kit bash of a couple things, and they're just saying that a Palpatine is coming. I don't think that's what it's going to actually look like at the end of the day. But those four stuck out to me quite dramatically. Of these four, though, that stuck out to me the most, Jar Jar would be the one that I'd actually put a pre-order in on. While I love Poe Dameron, I don't love that film that he's in, or that set of films that he's in, so I don't need to collect it. Shout out to Oscar Isaac, of course. But Jar Jar Binks, for me, when I was a kid, especially with Phantom Menace, I freaking loved that character when I was like 10 years old. So he's nostalgic enough that I would put in the Star Wars collection, despite some people's hate for Jar Jar Binks, which makes sense to a certain extent. Anything for you here, buddy, on kind of what they're teasing, at least on this particular set of slides? Anything that stands out for you?
Well, obviously Andor and K2 they've been ordered. No interest in Poe, Annie, Palpatine, Jar Jar.
No, you're crazy.
No, zero. No interest.
This is why Hot Toys puts things in the graveyard. They listen to the Shane and they're like, "Well, that's it. That's fine."
No one listens to me. The Hono stuff in the back, no. And I think those Commando clones look really cool, but it's from a game that I've never played. I think that's where they originated. But I think they popped up in the Bad Batch. Well, I haven't seen the Bad Batch. Yeah, thanks. That's a bit better. See, the range trooper with the massive bazooka looks very, very cool. That could be something you might see in Andor. I don't know. It looks cool, but no, there's nothing here that, from what I can see, that I've an interest in, apart from the two that I've ordered, and that's Andor and K2.
Crazy. I thought you'd say at least maybe Jar Jar, just because he is a unique character. I've seen some people say that they think he looks improved over the original showing of it. I think he looks exactly the same, and I was just as excited back then. Jim Collector says here, if they release Jar Jar, I'm putting my Darth Maul robe on him to create Darth Jar Jar. So I actually did see, if you are a Fortnite fan, I guess Fortnite is bringing a Darth Jar Jar into the mix. I'm not a Fortnite fan myself, but I think that's freaking hilarious. So good on him for that. But guys, let us know in the chat though, if you are if you're excited about any of these. Are these just kind of like mid for you in terms of excitement level figures? Like, where are you guys at? For me, I do really honestly hope they give us Jar Jar. I would buy him. Shane, the next slide that I have for you, I am excited to talk to you about, because we're like two ships passing in the wind. I gave some thoughts on this figure, and then you gave some thoughts on this figure, and then you and I have had some back and forth in our Instagram chat privately, but we haven't had a chance to really talk too much about it. We're going to talk about the Dark Knight Scarecrow 2.0. Now, what we are looking at on the screen right now is a 1.0 version. This was the previous release that came with the Demon Batman figure. Back then he came with the straitjacket look and the suit, of course, but he did not come with the Cillian Murphy head sculpt, which for me is absolutely peak. I am very excited to see this figure. They teased this a while ago, and it was at that point where I did kind of like I was just joking about with Jar Jar. It's been long enough since they teased it that I was like, that's going to hit the graveyard. They're not going to end up doing it. And then boom, here it is. And updated for sure. Not only do we get the Jonathan Crane head sculpt where you can take the glasses on or off, you can slot him in his jacket, which I think looks great, but they've updated the look for that dispersal, like smoke effect. I think that looks so much better than the original that looked like weird, like almost like the end of a fuzzy tooth, I should say like Q-tip. It looked really odd. I love the case that comes with it. I love the wiring for the dispersal effect under his jacket. I love the fact that they've given us the lighter so that you could show them, him throwing the lighter when he lights Batman on fire in Batman Begins. Like, that's all really great. And then for me, the standout piece here is the fact that this is coming in, and I think it was $295 if I'm not mistaken. Now I'd have to take a peek back, but or $290. But it's coming with three different head sculpts. Was it $280? Yeah, three different head sculpts. Of course, we're getting that pre-fear toxin look where it looks like they're magnets, but it's just maggots, but they're just stitching. And then we get the magnety look, and those maggots to me look so gnarly and gross that when I did my preview video, I did a this or that because I was like, do I get two of these? And then you gave me some great advice, Shane, in the chat. So I want to move to you because obviously I'm excited about this. I think the price point is great. I love the likeness for Cillian. I think it looks just freaking like him. I don't care if they went out to a third-party vendor or not. I think this looks great. And I'm definitely going to put at least one of these in my collection. What was your advice to me as a collector? And what are your thoughts on this figure?
What I labeled an intervention was that you were saying that you might get 2 of these, but like we're always the enemy. Our enemies are space and money, and we're only maybe, depending on when you get paid, every week or 2 weeks or a monthly, you're only probably, worst case scenario, a month away from your next paycheck and more discretionary income, and this is priced very reasonably from what you get at 280. But your space is limited, and that's it. The only way of changing your space is by moving house and getting a bigger place and a bigger collection room. So space is the bigger enemy, in my opinion, anyway. So this here, you were thrown around the idea of potentially getting 2, and I'm very conscious, like I don't want to tell people how to collect, because it's not what I do in my channel, not what I want to do with my friends. And if someone came into me going, hey, why are you doing that? Why don't you do it like this? My response would be, we're after the 5 minutes now, go fuck yourself. Like, that's exactly it. It's like, none of your business. I work hard for money. I pay my bills, and this is how I'm going to do things. But with the my advice was the same with people who were throwing around the idea of getting like 2 T1000s. I can totally see why someone would want to get 2 of these, or the 2 T1000s, but you're limited for space as it is. And if you pick up this, you have an opportunity to keep your collection fresh by just doing a repose every now and then. You'll still get to use the Cillian Murphy head sculpt. You could have it in that pose with the head sculpt and the glasses, holding one of the 2 masks that it comes with, and holding the briefcase. The briefcase, how often do you get a 1/6 briefcase? Come on, I'm way too excited about that briefcase. Or just swap it in and just having the look here on the left with the burlap sack. And like, I by the way, I also saw this at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I cannot tell the difference. I know there's something different between the 2 burlap sacks, but then you pointed out there was maggots on one of them, and I get that, so thank you. But it's I just think that the hype, obviously this movie, you're hyped about it because it's the Dark Knight trilogy, the same as myself, and, it's a fantastic movie, and he was in all 3. It's a fantastic head sculpt. You get 2 different versions of the burlap sack. You get separate rolling eyeballs function, all of them. You get the glasses. You get the lighter, which actually looks quite well with the little flame effect. The briefcase, the torch, they didn't have to do it, but they did it. And then the connections, like, the dispersal method on his right wrist, or the little kind of device on his right hip. Like, they're little details which are fantastic. Like, but it's a perfect opportunity to repose the figure. And I'm not talking about every day or every week, but even maybe once a quarter, to just keep your collection fresh. You might have X amount of figures behind you, but if you go, you know what, today I'm going to repose those 3, and that can be just enough to breathe new life into the collection, engage with your figures, get the value out of those accessories, because let's face it, they're sitting in the box all the time, without having to drop another 280. But I totally get if someone just, the Dark Knight's it for them, and that's all they want to do, and they want the 2 versions. I totally get it. But I think maybe it could be the first one you sell if you're stuck for space then, you know what I mean?
That's true. That is true. I'll disagree with you on one point. I think you mentioned, what was the other figure that you mentioned that you could get 2 of? Sorry, I forget what you just said.
The T1000. You could probably justify 3 on them.
So the T1000 has, I think, a very vastly different look between
You're not wrong. You're not
so
wrong.
I think that could be a candidate for 2, whereas this one, after I made that preview video because I was all excited and I was like, oh, I want to display both looks, maybe I'll buy 2. I went to bed that night and I thought, you know what, like, I don't really need to buy 2. This comes with 3 head sculpts, so really all I need is a figure body with like a suit, and I could kind of kit bash my own Jonathan Crane. The suit might not be exact, but I don't know if I would care enough. Like, I could have like the Jonathan Crane look in just a different suit that day, and then have the Scarecrow mask on the other. The other thing that I'd been thinking about, which is why I was thinking 2, was I was thinking it would be cool. I've got my Jim Gordon figure. It'd be cool to get him, Jonathan Crane, with like the judge's robe, like he has in Dark Knight Rises, with a gavel, and casting judgment on Jim Gordon before he sends him out onto the ice. So I thought that could just be as a figure display, something that's like really cool to look at. So part of the reason I was thinking 2, but I agree with you. I don't need 2 of these because I don't need 6 head sculpts floating around in my collection. I really just need an extra body with a suit to be able to prop this guy up and have a second look, or do exactly what you said. Just refresh the display every once in a while. Just swap it out, make it look a little bit different. Because you're absolutely right when you say that display space is the biggest enemy for most of us 6 scale collectors, including myself. I'm running out like crazy. The other piece that I was curious for you, Shane, on is, does this give you any hope that we are going to see
Yes.
either like a
Yes.
Ra's al Ghul or a
Oh,
2.0
sorry.
of
I jumped.
a 2.0 of Alfred, maybe a Talia. We've also, we could get a different Gordon, a different Blake. Maybe we could get the SWAT Gordon again at some point. Like, there are some figures that have not been remade. Keeping in mind that 2.0, we already had now a Bane. We've already had the Catwoman. We've now had the Two-Face. So they seem to be going kind of heavy on the 2.0 for the rest of the characters. Why not some of those other ones that were kind of missing in our displays? And last but not least, what about like a 4.0, maybe 3.0, 3.5 of Batman Begins? Because let's be honest, the last version
That's
they
what I
gave
thought
was
you were going to say.
horrible. So,
That's what I thought
are
you
your
were going to
thoughts
say.
there? Because they did tease. They show a Batman in this picture, but I think that's the one we've already seen.
I think
don't
it is. The
that's a
hands are
difference.
really shiny on it. That's a getaway. Just want to address Jose's point. Jose's always on to me about the because I have the Deadpool versus Deadpool and Wolverine regular version, and I'm also getting the Deadpool battling version. But even though they're the same character, they're different figures. You were on about buying the same. You were on about potentially buying 2 of these, whereas that one, they're 2 different things. One is completely battle damage. One is not. One comes with a head sculpt. One doesn't. Even the accessories, it makes more sense nearly to have 2 of them, because the accessories from the battling belong to the clean. The accessories from the clean belong to the battle damage. You know,
very
and it's
much
the
makes
main.
sense.
It's also the main character. This is not the main character, so there's another thing as well. But each to their own. But yeah, I can justify it. Yeah, I think it's like the Dark Knight. Howard seems to like the Dark Knight. You're going to get, I think, in a long enough timeline, and everything gets reissued at 2.0. And I do think we're going to see eventually Batman Begins. But if they mess it up again, it's just like, what are you even doing? Come on in, Art Gwynn, showing how it's done. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if you get a Gordon. I always thought the Gordon SWAT team version was very cool. Alfred probably does need a 2.0 in terms of the tailoring. Yeah, I just think they're going to keep doing it. They should give everything the Bane treatment. Just like, that's a great example of a bloody good 2.0. Do you know?
100%.
Ra's al Ghul, yeah, Jose's right on that, yeah.
Vita says here, I think it's quite simple. If money, space, etc. is not an issue, then you'd want to have both. You can have
But
both.
it is.
If you want one, you choose one and you prefer more. I agree with that to a certain extent, for sure, because even in my preview video when I talked about this, I was like, man, I don't even have 2 of the same Stormtrooper, right? Figures that notoriously are fun to army build with, having multiples are like as a cool look in the display. Because of display space, I haven't gone in on 2. So would I be crazy to consider 2 of these? But then on the other hand, I'm also kind of like, if I had to eliminate the majority of my collection in this room, right? You guys only get to see about 10 figures behind me, but I'm surrounded on literally both sides of the room by figures. If I had to eliminate most of my collectibles, I would keep the Dark Knight line. I just would. The figure that I'm going in on a custom head sculpt with, like I've actually reached out to a custom head sculpt designer and Rooter and all that, is for my Joker, right? I'm still not happy with the Hot Toys Joker. I'm still not happy with my in-art Joker. I want that next level likeness for Heath Ledger's Joker, which at this point is the custom route. Like, the Dark Knight display for me is the display of my collection. That's what got me into Hot Toys collecting to begin with, and it'll be what takes me out at the end of the day. So for me, I could justify 2 of these because of my love for those films. The crazy part, though, when you mentioned the Batman Begins figure not being that great, is that, like, at this point, I've even gone in on upgrades for them. For the Batman, I've gone in on a Jackson Chu head sculpt, which brought that figure like night and day from what the stock version is, as well as the Jackson Chu cape, which I haven't received yet. That's why if you look up here, Batman is naked without his cape. He actually looks like a really weird character without a cape, I'm not gonna lie, but the customized version of Batman Begins from Hot Toys is, I think, gotten me to that next level with that one, that I'm cool with it. But I think it's going to piss people off if they give us a Batman Begins again. That's like, wow, look at how much better this one is. Everybody will be like, why couldn't you give us this level of accuracy on the previous 2? On the other hand, if they don't make it more accurate, it's also going to light the community on fire, because people are going to be like, guys, you've had 3 chances at least to get this right, and how have you not already? So I don't know. I don't know. Is there any characters in your display that you thought about getting two on?
Oh, I have multiple Iron Man.
Yeah. Different suits, though.
Yeah, very different suits, to be fair. Well, yeah, they're different. I just... The Mark 6 was always my favorite, but the Mark 6 comes from Iron Man 2, which is not from my favorite movie. So I have the Mark 3 in 6 scale and quarter scale. I have the Mark 6. I have the Mark 47 because I really like Homecoming. I really like Spider-Man Homecoming, and I like the Spider-Man Homecoming and Mark 85. So Iron Man is kind of the one that I do have multiples of. But like, you know, if I had to downsize, reality is like, if I had to downsize and if I had to go, okay, I'm going to pick one version of every character for whatever reason, decisions would have to be made, and you just have to pick.
I got an interesting question then for you. What's the one figure in your collection right now that's the next on the ledge? The next one to get voted off the island in favor of another figure space.
Oh,
what's that?
Oh, well. Oh man. They can hear me.
I've been looking at my War Machine Mark 1 reissue. It's a great figure.
I love
but
the figure.
I don't know if I need it, and I could take a square.
And you know what? It's because he's next to the Mark 6, which premiered in that movie, and because I haven't posed up so well with the base and its fusion reactor, I'm like, yeah, you're good. Your job is safe. You just stand there and look cool. God, a tough decision. Okay, looking back here is probably pointless because I'm really happy with how that was. Oh God. I suppose it's pointless looking at the displayed figures. It'd be like, okay, what's the I don't know. You're saying if I have to sell one?
Yeah, so I mean, if there's if you're like, okay, you know, now this Jonathan Crane is coming to my collection. Now I have to vote one off the island. There's one here that's like, I need that figure space in my main display or whatever. What's the first character to go out of the collection now for you? Because I've even been looking at like my Throbbing from Batman Forever. I'm like, I could just have a Batman Val Kilmer. I don't know if I need Robin. As a result, then I don't know if I need my Mars Toys Riddler. I don't know if I need my Mark 1 reissue, even though I like the figure. It's cool. I want to get the new Daredevil, but I've got the Netflix Daredevil. Do I need two Daredevils? But then I've got my Punisher as well. They haven't told us about a new Punisher yet, so I'm like, I'm going to sit on that until the minute it gets reissued. There's a couple figures in my display that I'm like, I could move you on if I need the space. This is coming from a collector that buys from nostalgia and the heart, though. I know that you're a little bit more dialed in sometimes.
Well, I think that's where the dialed in comes from, though.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know
That's right.
The love of the movie and the strength of the movie. It's not just member berries. It's the strength of the movie plus the memories together. Oh man. I think if I had to gun to my head, I might have to take an opportunity then to downsize an Iron Man and get rid of the Mark 47. Then it's like, I don't really want to ever sell the Homecoming Spider-Man because I love that look with the layers on it, you know what I mean? And then it's nice having the Mark 47 because it's like it's something to pair it with, but then again, you don't really need to pair it. Gun to my head, probably the Mark 47. I don't know.
Mark 47, that's fair. Jose says his name is Focus for a reason.
Yeah.
Jose also says, I don't see InArt ever doing Batman Begins figures. I've said it before, but after our event, I was pitching characters to them and they had no idea who they were, which is crazy when you think about
that's
it.
Rick
says Scarecrow is the day one pre-order. 100%. Totally agree. We got Leo Meow here as well. It says, what do we think of a Demon Batman re-releasing happening, or should I pick up the old one? I don't think we're going to get another one of that. I don't like to tell people where to spend their money, and I'd hate to be wrong. So for the sake of this conversation, if I tell you this and they do it, I apologize because of course I don't have an inside track with Hot Toys. Sometimes predicting their tactics are a little bit hard, but I do not think that they're going to give us another Demon Batman. Just like I'm not 100% sure they're actually going to give us another Michael Caine Alfred. I think that they would have done that if they were going to do it by now. Instead, they gave us like that different armory set. We've now got two different armory sets. that Alfred was originally in an Armory set. I don't know if they're going to go in on a Michael Caine for the same kind of reason. What do you think about that, Shane? I'll kick that over to you in terms of either Ra's al Ghul, Michael Caine, Demon Batman. Do you have any thoughts there? And you're muted.
Okay, on a long enough timeline, I think any of the ones that have got made before have potential to get remade again, because it's like the easy option with maybe updated paint applications or updated bodies or some sort of fancy diorama based accessory, like, because they're easy to do. They're kind of like the Troopers. You just turn on the printing press and put something different onto it. A Ra's al Ghul, I just don't see it happening. It should happen. It absolutely should, but I just don't see it happen. They would have done. I think they would have done it at this stage, and people are crying out for it because it's something that they should do. I can actually see them do the likes of a Jim Gordon, the SWAT team version. Maybe just update the paint application, maybe update the sculpt or whatever. I can see them doing a Michael Caine again. I think on a long enough timeline. My point is that on a long enough timeline, I think the stuff they've done already, they can it's easier for them to churn out 2.0s or reissues or whatever you want to call it, so it's a shame that Ra's al Ghul hasn't been done, but I think it's a lot easier to visualize 2.0s with slight improvements of things that they have done than brand new things that unfortunately they haven't done.
So actually, I just got a phone call while I took myself off screen. Liam Neeson called me himself. Ra's al Ghul is not going to be coming to Hot Toys Fruition because Liam Neeson is actually trying out for a different role, and so he sent me this clip. So this is probably the figure we're going to get if you're hoping for a Liam Neeson.
Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity. Easter is on his way. Eggs aren't the only thing that'll be dying tonight. Yes, he's a bunny, but a bunny who's laying eggs. He's a freak of nature, a confused, grotesque monster. Why do you think he's holding up carrot, Bill? By employing the bunny's certain set of skills, he can gnaw it down into a shape. Shove it between people's ribs around them.
I have never seen that. Where did you get that?
He did that skit on Stephen Colbert, the Late Show, I think it was. So...
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Liam Neeson as the Easter Bunny. That will be the next figure we get of him.
He's going to be in the new Naked Gun movie.
I heard that. That would actually. Yeah. He's got a great sense of humor too. Like he's a funny guy. So I'm excited to see that. Let's move on, Shane. We're about an hour and a half in here. It might be a bit of a shorter show today, just because we only had the two of us. I know Pete from Only Fools and Collecting was supposed to be here. He probably fell asleep. So shout out to Pete there. We love you, buddy. But happy to have just you here either way, Shane. This one got updated by Jazz Inc. So this is now the newest look at Batman. From Batman the Animated Series. Now, again, you guys have heard me talk about Batman the Animated Series so many times. It is easily the biggest reason that I became as big of a Batman fan as I am. I love the original animated series, at least the first two seasons. As it progressed into Batman Adventure Continues, I didn't love it as much. They changed some of the art style a little bit, but the original is peak Batman for me. And I've been kind of keeping a pretty close eye on Jazz Inc. because I've been curious to see. They originally showed us this prototype as kind of a more like realistic, like muscular Fison body style. And people were like, it looks cool, but it doesn't look like the animated series. And then they moved quite a bit more into like a custom body look for the animated series figure, kind of musculature and everything. And it definitely looked better, but the cape had like rounded bumps on the bottom. Whereas in the show, it's a lot more jagged and flowing. And now they've given us this. So now it's a mixture of the more animated series looking body, the more jagged style cape. You can see the color throughout. You can see the blue on his head, the blue under the cape. I think that all looks fantastic. This is pretty much nailing it for me at this point. This is exactly what I was hoping to see. I still think that this is miles better than the Mondo Batman Animated Series figure I had. While that figure looks great and it looks like the animated series Batman, don't get me wrong. Happy 420. While I like joints, I don't like joints on my figures. And for me, this without the joints, and the like the I should say the seamless look to them. Freaking looks so good. I am excited to see this pre-order go up. What I'm not excited to see is what the price is going to be at. I'm curious what your speculation is, guys. Everybody, we got almost 70 people watching live. What's your speculation on what the price point of this has to be? If it's a custom body and all this extra work has been put in, tell me what you think the price is going to come out at. In terms of you, Shane, I can't remember. I know we've talked a little bit about this, but of course we're huge Batman fans. But where are you in terms of Batman Animated Series? Is this something that you would consider for your 1/6 display?
I remember watching this when I was in my teens, and I loved the intro because of how exaggerated the length
100%.
of the nose of the Batmobile was.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, at the time, my idea of the Batmobile was the 89 to 92. But I was looking at that one going, man, this is a close second. This is very, very nice. This is something, it just works. I remember thinking the cartoon had no business being as good as it was at the time. Now, I need to maybe go back and rewatch it all. Not something I'll be introducing into the collection. I think this is going to be in around... I think it's going to be over 300, somewhere in between. I think maybe Geo has it. I go maybe 375 or something like that. Hard to know when we don't know the... Somewhere in between 3 and 400. Leaning more towards the 400. Hard to know but until we see what he comes with. But no, not something I'll be introducing. But it's not because I don't think the cartoon is good. It's just... It's not something that I watch regularly. But... I appreciate it. It is good.
That's fair. That's fair. Would you, like, if these figures are in the $300 to $400 price point, though, do you think that that's going to turn people off of this? Because while this is definitely more accurate, when I think about my 1/12 scale, that's you can't see them, unfortunately. It's like the next shelf up, but I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I've got 15 of them up above me. So if 15 of them are some of my favorite characters from Batman the Animated Series, and anything above $300, like, oh my God, like that is one hell of an expensive collection. And even for me, as much as I love Batman the Animated Series, I don't think I could justify much more than probably 2 of these. And that would, of course, be Batman and the Joker. I don't know
Jazz
if I could
won't be
get the
doing
rest
15
of
of these.
You don't think they're going to do it? You
No.
think they're going to stick
Jazz
to like
won't
one
be
or two?
doing this.
Couple?
I don't think they're going to do a big long line of this. This will be.
But I mean, they're
Batman.
doing Danny DeVito's Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. Like, I mean,
but they're not
that's,
doing an
that's going
entire
deep
line.
on one line.
They're
That's
not
true.
doing an entire line. Like, do you mean? I mean, like,
That's
Batman Returns. Besides Batman, it's Catwoman and Danny DeVito. They're not going to do a Christopher Walken. Like, they're not. Like, people are not going to put their hands in their pocket. People go, "Oh my God, it would be
Max
great to have a
Schreck.
Christopher Walken." Do you know what I mean? No one is going to put their hand in a pocket for it. Even Bob the Goon. Like, there would be some diehards that put their hand
Mars
in the
Toys should do Bob.
But like
Mars Toys.
Mars Toys would probably be the people I could see most likely to do it, and most likely to do it at an affordable price. Or maybe people would go, yeah, maybe I can get a Bob the Goon. But like, a lot of people wouldn't put their hands in their pocket for Bob the Goon. That's the reality, I think. This here, because it's the main character, because it's that version, the main character, and maybe a bit more upmarket than what it Mondo or whatever, people will more than likely, yeah. Even if it's overpriced, people will complain about it, but then take out their credit cards and buy it.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. Matt in the chat says, did the animated Batmobile get canceled, or is it still happening? Definitely is still happening. In fact, I think that there's actually still 2 representations of it that are happening. One is the all black look, and one is the more like cell shaded look that has the, or more like pearlescent. It's not actually cell shaded, but I think it's more of like pearlescent, like blue hue to it, which looks pretty cool. Which, if I was going to go with either of them, which I would love to get, but they're like almost 5 feet long, it would be the blue pearlescent look for sure. I don't know, though. I don't know if it makes sense to start a line if you're not going to give us a couple of other characters to go along with it either. But I also agree with you, Shane, that like Batman is, of course, the main character. So like, if you are a Batman collector, right? Like, if I think of Batman, my favorite Batman is still Christian Bale or Michael Keaton. They're neck and neck for who would be my favorite live action. But Kevin Conroy, for me, when I close my eyes, will always, always, always be the voice of Batman. And of course, he is the voice of Batman for this particular representation of Batman. So it's the closest I'd feel like I could get to having a a Batman from Kevin Conroy's version in my display. I guess the only alternative would be the video game series Batmans from the Arkham games, because he did voice the Batmans in those as well, which do exist. So if you didn't want to go in this, you wanted to go something that looks a little bit more realistic, then the video game ones could be your Kevin Conroy, I guess, as well. But for me, with my love for Batman the Animated Series, I'm gonna get this either way. I'll put it as a review on the channel if you guys are interested in my thoughts once it comes through. I would like to see at least one side character to go with this, and I think the mainstay side character should be a Joker. If they're gonna do it, give us the Joker. I'd be curious though, from the chat and anybody watching on replay, is there a different character that you would love to see paired with Batman if it wasn't the Joker? Who would that be? And what are your thoughts here on the price point? I kind of agree with you, Shane. I'm thinking it's probably in that $300 to $400 range. If it's any more, I won't justify it though. And with looming tariffs and with prices of figures just going up just kind of organically as it was, it does worry me that with all the customized options of this figure, to get this to be as accurate as it is now, we'll put this into a price point that makes no sense for most collectors, unless you're an absolute freaking diehard. So we'll see. But I'd be curious to see what the chat has to say about that for sure. Guys, we have 65 to 70 people watching live. Thank you so much for being here, getting nuts with us on Sunday. If you don't mind, hit the like button if you're just joining us here, or subscribe if you're new to the channel. Definitely would love to have you here week over week. A couple of things that we'll quickly bomb through here, and then we will wrap up the show for us today. We can do it a little bit early today, Shane. It can be a bit of a shorter show. Of course, Grogu and a few others have now been actually officially released. We've had the Grogu life-size scale released. We've had the release of the Darth Vader Sith Apprentice. We've also, of course, had the dueling effect version of Darth Vader put up as its release, the concept art blogger photos of the Darth Maul, and then I think there was one more. Oh yeah, Galen Erso and the, what's it called, Cherry Blossom Trooper. I think for the most part, Hot Toys did a pretty good job of showing us these photos when these went up for pre-order. I didn't see anything that stood out to me in terms of these blogger photos that went up that I was like, oof, that looks worse. If anything, I'd actually say that the Grogu stood out to me as looking better than the pre-order photos. Now that we've seen a couple of other versions, like shots of it, that does look really freaking cute, and I kind of want one as a result. But look at the little ladybug on his head. Did any of these stand out to you as being better or worse than the pre-order photos that went up for us there, buddy?
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't taken a good look at these Grogu photos, and I do think this is the best one we've seen so far, because I know Hot Toys did one originally, and I thought while the prototype images for that were good, the final product, I just felt it looked too animated as opposed to looking like an animatronic puppet type thing, like from yeah. And I think this looks more like what you see on the TV show. And I thought the sideshow one apparently was pretty much a statue, and he was always looking up. I don't think you could actually make him look down. Although like the sideshow one, it was done in conjunction with Legacy Studios, which is the studio that helps with the effects for the actual show, which I know. But this here, yeah, I definitely think it's better than 1.0. I do think it looks pretty good. There's two 501st armors that I would love to do eventually. One would be a Shore Trooper, and the other one would be the actual Beskar Mando. And if I had the Beskar Mando, this would be something I might source, because the satchel, even though it's not the one he has, it's the Imperial one, you could still use it, throw it over your shoulder and walk around with, Grogu. That'd be pretty cool. Annie looks the same as the Protos, more or less.
I don't like that hood at all.
Yeah.
I don't like that hood.
Well, I don't mind the hood. What don't you like?
You don't mind it? I like it. Looks weird.
What, you just think it doesn't sit right or something?
It just sits weird. I mean, and maybe it's because they don't want to mess up the actual artisan hair, so as a result, they can't get it like tucked down. But it just it looks like it pops up too high. I just think it looks weird. That's just me.
I think both of these. I think the Artisan Anakin light side suffered from a degradation from prototype to actual product, whereas this one didn't really, because I think they were making this at the same time when they were making the Artisan Anakin light side. So essentially the prototype images were more or less the same as the product because it was ready to go. Do you know what I mean? Like Do you know when we saw the prototype images this like 2 weeks ago? It was like, this is ready to go now, so that's it's not going to change too much. Like so, yeah, it looks fine.
A lot more yellow in the eyes. A lot more yellow in the eyes
Yeah,
than those
yeah.
initial pictures. Those initial pictures, I thought he looked like he had pretty much just bloodshot red eyes, and that was a huge criticism I'd had of that pre-order window going up. Was like, the eyes don't look right. That they don't look like they have those yellow pupils. This really brought those to life. So I think in hand, this might be better than I was initially expecting, at least in terms of the
I
accuracy
watched
of the
this
eyes.
movie again last night, and every time I go back to watch the prequels, I like, Shane, maybe you judged these too harshly. And every time I'm like, no, you didn't. Some of the script,
No way.
man. Oh my god, some of the script.
The film
I'm
itself.
just like,
yeah.
I just know. They just don't float my boat, man. And I really wanted to. And there's some parts I just thought were great, but like, like the bit at the end when he's burning to death, and the whole him being constructed to Darth Vader, and him like learning about Padme, right up to the point when he goes no. But like, yeah, I just can't get on board with him. I've really tried.
Fair.
But he I had a point on this, but it was kind of like, this is just one of those exclusives that are like, okay, we'll make it. I think this is the sculpt we're going to get for the inevitable sculpted version of the dark side Anakin, or maybe they just do another limited to 4,000 dark side Anakin with an actual Revenge of the Sith, maybe 20-year anniversary base, and your light up USB blue lightsaber, even though we know it comes with two. This, I don't know, I've no enthusiasm for this whatsoever, Ben. It's just like, it's Darth Vader with a bit of red and blue, and does he look cool?
I think this would look really weird. I think this looks more animated than it does live action. I think if you have red and blue lighting in your display, like I can change these lighting, like these lights to any color I want. So like I could do this in terms of like make it feel like it looks like this, but I like this is a perfect limited option for me, because it's like,
a lot of them are.
Well, we tease about
Stormtrooper
like
was
the this is for somebody but not for me kind of feel. This is definitely for somebody but not for me. Same with some of the other ones that came out. The only one that I still really wanted was a dark side Anakin, even though they call in it Darth Vader. So I'm hoping, like you're right, hoping we do get that inevitable Revenge of the Sith dark side Anakin proper for people's wide release collection, right?
Yeah, and then there's going to be some
weird.
silly gooses who spend over 1,000 on the Darth Vader one, and then
look at the shine. Look at the shine on this helmet here. I don't know if can you see my mouse floating around? Can you see this? Like, how it almost looks like he's got a weird eye at the side of his head. Like if you had him turned, it would look like that. I like the idea behind this though. I do think it's kind of still fun. Again, it's back to that like, it's for somebody but not for me. I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that way with regards to Maul. I think the Maul looks just as good, if not better, than the prototype photos that we saw. But still is kind of a strange looking.
Okay, Ben,
for Maul.
You're there. You're in Star Wars Celebration 2025.
Put myself there.
You have saved a ball of money. You're good. You want to get a memento. You've got a few little key rings and pins and t-shirts and hats and stuff, but you're like, I'm going to get one hot toy. Is it going to be the actual Darth Vader, the Crayola one, the Darth Maul concept, the Dark Side Anakin Darth Vader, the Grogu, the Cherry Blossom Trooper, or Galen Erso? What would you get?
I bet I wouldn't make it in time for the lineup for the Anakin. So if my number one choice would be the dark side look for Anakin or the Darth Vader, for sure, because I would love that figure and I think he looks great. I think in terms of my actual realistic possibilities of getting one in hand, it would be the Cherry Blossom Trooper. I think the Cherry Blossom Trooper, in terms of like when I close my eyes and think of like what could be a cool looking like Japanese design, like what would represent my trip to Japan, and Star Wars Celebration all at the same time, the Cherry Blossom Trooper does it for me. I would have definitely tried to pick him up if I couldn't get the Darth Vader. Everybody else I can pass on. I think we'll see another Galen Erso at some point in more general release. If not, I'd be shocked because I know people really want that character in their displays. The Maul could care less, honestly. I don't love this look. I really don't love him. The Crayola one that you mentioned here, this Darth Vader. Again, if it was gifted to me, I'd be stoked. I'd be over the moon. I'd love it, but I wouldn't go chase it. I guess the in reverse question to you, Shane, if there was only one left, if you could only get one left, would you be disappointed with any of these, or would you still be happy to pick one of these up if you could go and do the trip?
I think if you look at what Jose's saying there, he said he heard that Galen didn't even sell out. And I was messaging Calvin, just saying, how are you getting on? What did you pick up? Whatever. And Calvin was saying Galen didn't sell out, and there was no notification on the Hot Toys Japan Instagram, because they were when it was sold out, Hot Toys Japan, they were throwing up Grogu sold out, Vader sold out, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I think I'd actually pick up this because it's the only one that actually appears on screen. And Rogue One's a fantastic movie, but like I okay, in the cold light of day right now, not in Star Wars Japan, I'm not going to pick this up.
Rose-colored
but if I was there, I was like, okay, do I want the novelty one, like the Vader or the Trooper, or do I want the one that actually appeared in a movie? And I was like, yeah, you know what? Seeing as you're getting K2 and Andor, or sorry, K2 and Andor, you could make it work, and that'd be your representation. Fair enough.
That's fair. You know what's interesting about this sculpt? When I first saw this go for pre-order, I was like, "Wow, that looks just like the actor." What's it? Mikkelsen, right? What the heck is his first name? Mads Mikkelsen? I don't think I'm getting that right. But anyways, it looks like him. I'm like, here, yes, no, yes, no, yes, yes, no. Yes. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird to me that the face changes so dramatically between the look. How is that even?
For those that are listening and can't see the screen, he's basically flicking through Galen Erso blogger photos and saying if it does actually look like Mads Mikkelsen or not.
I'm not doing the Austin Powers like yes, no. But that's how it feels. That is how it feels. Jose says, what about his farmer's look? Yeah, I mean, I think that's a more fun figure look, if I'm being honest, with the longer hair.
More than likely, I reckon they'll take the head sculpt and they'll slap an old robe on him, and away you go. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I forget sometimes that we do have audio listeners sometimes, so thank you for that, Shane. Definitely appreciated. That's all I've got for us today in terms of the show for us, my friend. In terms of our, of course, channel members, I do want to say a quick shout out to them, but before I do, Mr. Shane, 16-figure focus, what do you have coming up, buddy, on your channel this week or this month? Anything you're excited for to chat about?
Well, Ben, thanks very much for having me on. Do appreciate it. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 3 p.m. East Coast, or midday West Coast, the Hope Show returns. A bunch of the usual guests. Probably have Ian and H and Silver Fox, and maybe Rogue One Photography, Jim's Collection. Maybe Jose, the fact checker, might join us. Maybe Dan and Carbonite. I'm not sure if Trevor's still in Japan. And who else? Tron's Office, maybe even Tiny Archive. So anyway, we'll be back. And it's exciting because tomorrow we're not doing the giveaway tomorrow night, but I'm going to tell you exactly what date and what Hope Show we are giving the giveaway. So we're giving away a brand new inbox Artisan Anakin Skywalker, and tomorrow night I'm going to reveal exactly what date we're going to do the duck race to give it out. So that'll be a big one, as well as a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about. We're going to have a look at Star Wars Celebration photos. We're going to be talking about Scarecrow as well, and the latest news and announcements. And what else do we want to talk about as well? There's something else. We any excuse to talk about Andor, really. I may be doing a weekly Andor stream for the next 4 weeks. I haven't fully decided yet. Andor drops at like Tuesday 9 p.m. New York time. That's like 2 o'clock in the morning my time, and I'll be on Collecting Weekly at that time. I hope Zach knows how much a sacrifice that'll be. So more than likely, I'm going to go to bed after Collecting Weekly, because it'll be 5 o'clock in the morning. Get up, go to the gym, come home, get some food, and then sit down and watch those 3 episodes. So basically, I'm going to be watching Andor for the next 4 weeks on a Wednesday. So I think maybe do a spoiler show on the Thursday, so people will be warned not to watch it if you haven't seen Andor. apart from that, John Wick review is up on the channel.
Nice.
And I'm about halfway through doing a review on this, which is basically
what is
the this is
nice.
this. I can't point.
Oh, okay. The panel
This is
light.
this
Yes.
here. So
okay,
if you
cool.
look at the panel light, just 1 second. So if I'm in a bad mood, it goes like this. Yeah. So that's.
Do they have a
when I'm-
rainbow option if you're feeling a little extra fancy that day? Or
I'm telling you, it has a music option,
oh, that's
but
cute.
I haven't. Oh, here we go. It tracks.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool,
that's
man.
very good.
Actually,
Yeah,
that's
it's good.
I think
So-
that, yeah.
So when we really want to like drop the beat, like we can do that. So that's actually
the beat.
yeah. So yeah,
Love that, buddy.
that's there. So their review halfway done. So yeah, thanks, man.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
Dude, thanks for being here as always. I thought it would be more than the two of us, but I'm honestly was happy to just hang with you
don't
for
need
a
them,
couple
Ben.
hours. We don't need anybody, man. We got this. We had
We got
75
800,
people
man.
watching
800.
live at one point there. So great turnout for an Easter Sunday. Thanks for all being here. Quick shout out to Jose Plus and the 16 Fix YouTube channel on 16 Fix on Saturday next week at all of the times displayed here, depending on your time zone. I will be faced off against Feezy's Figures in the Shark Tank for Más o Menos. I will be there. I have not picked my figure quite yet to pitch, but I sent Jose a couple options there earlier today, so I am dialing in which one that I'm going to pitch, because I have to beat Feezy's Figures. I have to beat him. I'm a competitive soul. So if you guys like 16 Fix, if you like Jose Plus, if you like me, if you like Jose, if you like Jay from Feezy's Figures, if you like YouTube and you like figures and versus matches and all of the things, death battles and all that stuff, make sure you are there on Más o Menos 16 Fix YouTube channel next Saturday at the times listed for the Shark Tank. Be there, be square. In terms of our Tough Nut crew, I want to have a special shout out to all of the 41 people who are joining us as channel members today. Once again, channel membership link is in the chat right there for you guys if you want to become one of us. But we've got Elvin J collecting weekly money, Mendez 1, Adam 12, 6 scale Mafia 1, 6 figure Focus, X-Men Supreme, King Ding-a-ling, Sith scale collector 12-inch Moose Stream, The Batman, The Movie Canon, Parks Industries, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Honest Hansel, Peter Cass, Harry Dempsey, Ryan Smith, Collector Joey, Sam Gist, Rachel Miller, Jose G. Hernandez, Figure in a Bibble, Collector Obsession, I should say Collection Obsession, thank you very much, Blurred Dad Life, Don Matan, Alex Serrato, Pop Culture Relics, Daniel SC, Figurecraft, Trevor Weed, Big Reeb, as Dean would say, Big Dog Pound 1, The Real Tex Conway, Monroe Corbeil, Valkyrie Magnus, Brick Artemis, OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars, Tijuana Mike, aka King Churro, Saphira Cosplay, and our newest channel member from last week. Big shout out to you. Thanks for becoming a member, buddy. Aaron Roverman. Again, if you guys want to become a channel member, link is there for you. $1.99 a month, and all it does really is gets you in the draw for our giveaways. You become a Tough Nut crew member. You get to use some cool emojis and some cool chat badges. And I am open to suggestion. If you guys want more out of the membership, let me know what you want, and we will consider that for you guys. These are the things that you get with it. Again, the emojis as well as our nut badges. But at the end of the day, I didn't mean to take Shane out there. You hate to see it. This is the one I meant to remove. Shane, at the end of the day, we had 75 people watching at our peak today. Always nice to get down with the Irish folks. Love you guys. Happy Easter to you, my friend. Thanks for always being here. We've got like 3 years of friendship under our belt. I can't wait to do this when we're still 80. Maybe I'll see if I can get you to 90.
He's gonna make us do this and he's 90. Do you know what would be cool? If we all go to Star Wars Celebration in LA.
Dude,
Marco,
that
Calvin,
would be cool.
I'm telling you.
It would be a lot easier for me to get to LA than it would be Japan, I will say. That's for sure. So
We have 2 years.
for sure. 2 years. 2 years to plan it. Let's start planning it now. Maybe we'll do a stream from LA in the future. We'll see how that goes. But guys, all of that being said, Shane, we got nuts. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy Easter. Happy 420. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Wow,
See you.
what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Subscribe and makes you feel good.
Where should I go? What should I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.